What's up everyone, how are we doing? I thought I would finally get around to doing a combined Liverpool-Manchester City 11 ahead of what is a huge game at the Etihad. I thought I'd get stuck into it. I thought, why not? Usually I sit on the fence on these things and I say they just cause arguments, but one thing I can promise you is, with this combined 11 that I'm going to go through now, I really did try and look at it as objectively as I can. And try and come up with what I think is the best 11 players from two squads that are the envy of many clubs around Europe. Absolutely phenomenal squads, phenomenal managers. Let's go through it one by one and I'll give you my reasoning as to why I've gone with the decisions I have. Starting off in goal, and this is always one that, riles up both sets of fans, because I think one thing is fair to say is both teams probably have the right goalkeeper for the squads that they have. You know, what Ederson does at Manchester City suits the way Pep plays ideally well. And of course what Alisson does at Liverpool is perfect for us. I've given the edge in this one to Alisson because all in all I think Alisson is a better shot stopper than Ederson. Both very good at the distribution, both vitally important defensive cogs for their managers, both love to play sweeper keeper, both go head to head of course with Brazil. But I honestly, no bias here, I just believe Alisson is the slightly better goalkeeper, so I've gone for Alisson in goal. Now I'm going to move over to the left back slot, and I tell you what, it was very, very difficult to leave out Andy Robertson. But I have to say, João Cancelo is one hell of a footballer, and we often speak as Liverpool fans about the impact Trent has for us. Well, João Cancelo, if you look at his heat maps for Manchester City, it's phenomenal what the guy does. He is a top-notch footballer, and I can't come on here and do what I want to be a fair combined 11 and not put João Cancelo at left back. So for me, Cancelo at left back, obviously just pushing out Robbo. Moving across to the other side, again, I don't really think we can have an argument about this one. It has to be Trent Alexander-Arnold. People say Trent can't defend. I beg to differ. But if we even just push that to the side for a second, I think it's fair to say that both Cancelo on his side and Trent on their side, they're reinventing the fullback position. Their distribution, the range of passing is phenomenal. Trent Alexander-Arnold, in my opinion, will go on to be the best right back in European football if he isn't already. So for me, I think it's fair. Trent on the right, Cancelo on the left. Moving into the centre-back pairing. What I've done here is, by the way, I know that Diaz is out injured, but I didn't let that cloud my judgment on this because I wanted to do a fair squad assessment of the two teams. So for me, you're going to have Diaz and Van Dijk as the two centre-backs. Can you imagine, by the way, if these two gentlemen actually play together in the same team? You know, attackers may as well just give up because they are two of the most highly rated, highly respected centre-backs playing their trade in world football right now. So I think, again, there's not really much of an argument around that. Virgil van Dijk and Diaz, absolutely nailed on. So the back four then, Trent on the right, Cancelo on the left, Diaz and Virgil van Dijk. If you think I'm wrong, if you think maybe Robbo deserves it in ahead of Cancelo, or maybe I should find a place for Kyle Walker, again, do let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Moving into midfield now. This was probably the easiest of the decisions that I made around midfield because Liverpool in midfield have some great options, but I honestly believe Manchester City's options in midfield are probably just that slight bit better. So with that in mind, what I've gone with is, I've gone for Fabinho in the holding role. Manchester City fans will be telling me I should have picked Rodri, and I do respect Rodri as a footballer, but I honestly believe that Fabinho is the best central defensive midfielder in world football, bar none. The man is a phenomenon. His reading of the game is outstanding. The fact that he can play in a whole multitude of positions, he can play at right back, he can play centre back, and he can play in central midfield as well as anybody else. Look, Rodri, again, an excellent footballer, but my honest assessment of it is, if I was picking a team, I would put Fabinho in the defensive midfield role. On the left-hand side, I think Bernardo Silva, and I don't even think it's a question. Liverpool fans, we're going to say to me, Craig, Thiago. And look, I love Thiago, love the man dearly. But this season, Bernardo Silva has been phenomenal for Manchester City and Portugal. Absolutely phenomenal. So I think it would be just pure bias if I didn't have Bernardo Silva on the left. And then on the right-hand side of midfield, again, it's another Manchester City player, Kevin De Bruyne. Look, what can I say about De Bruyne that hasn't already been said? The man is phenomenal. I mean, I think the highest compliment I could give Kevin De Bruyne is he's the closest thing to Steven Gerrard that I've ever witnessed. on a football pitch. He is absolutely unplayable on his day. And much like Stevie G he can change the game. He can change the course of a club's history. He is that big of a player. I have nothing but the height of respect for De Bruyne. I do find it funny though sometimes that, and again I'd love to hear from City fans on this, sometimes 10 minutes into a game he looks absolutely exhausted, his face is red, he's huffing and he's puffing, but he always manages to see it through. I'm not saying he's unfit, he isn't, but he just, maybe it's the light skin, I don't know, but he does look like he's out of breath on occasion. But look, Kevin De Bruyne, absolutely phenomenal footballer, would walk into any midfield of any team in world football. The fact that Mourinho was silly enough to let him go for Chelsea still makes me giggle to this day. But midfield, Fabinho, Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne. Let's start with the left-hand side of the attack. Liverpool fans, again, going to be shouting at me here because I didn't go with Luis Diaz. I didn't feel it fair to put Luis Diaz in. He's only been here since January. He's had a great impact since starting at Liverpool Football Club. But if I overlooked Phil Foden in place of Luis Diaz or Sadio Mane, again I think it would just be Liverpool bias. Putting on my neutral hat, which is difficult to do, Phil Foden is excellent. I mean, to wait as long as he did, learning off the likes of David Silva, being as patient as he has under Pep Guardiola to wait for his chance, fair to say he has taken that chance with both arms. He is probably the most talented English footballer that I've seen since probably Paul Gascoigne. He's a phenomenal player. He really, really is. And the fact that he is, so slight of build compared to some of the stronger attackers like Mohamed Salah, it doesn't let him affect his game. He's phenomenally dropped into space between the lines, always looking to play on the front foot. And why know only too well as a Liverpool fan that, he can cause us massive problems like he did at Anfield. So, left side of the attack, again, I think I'm being entirely fair here, Phil Foden. Through the centre, again, difficult one here because, Manchester City right now, I think it's for even Manchester City fans will admit, you don't really have an out-and-out striker right now or somebody who is banging in goals for fun through the centre. Gabriel Jesus, a good footballer, but not good enough to get into this 11 in my opinion. Sadio Mane I've also left out, and again that was a very difficult decision because I think Sadio Mane has looked very good for us in the attacking central role. I don't like to call it a false nine role because I think that's a bit simplistic, but ultimately when I weighed it all up, I think that the best choice for this 11 that I'm putting together is Diogo Jota. So for me, Diogo Jota plays through the centre. I think Manchester City fans would appreciate and do appreciate what Diogo Jota brings to a game of football. I love him. He's a pest, and I mean that in a positive way. He's always closing people down. He's always snapping at people's ankles, and he has this great knack of scoring important goals. If you look at his last goal, the headed goal that he scored it's a typical Diogo Jota type goal, the one from Joe Gomez's cross the right hand side. He just has a knack of being in the right place at the right time. And on the big occasion, sometimes you need those type of players. So Diogo Jota, for me, through the centre. Over to the right-hand side, no surprise here, it is Mohamed Salah. Look, City fans, this has ended up 6 Liverpool players, I believe, to 5 Manchester City players. But I promise you, I gave it my best shot to be as neutral as possible. Because as much as I don't like the people that run Manchester City and the way that the club is run, I have the utmost of respect for the coaches, for the players at the club, and for those hardcore Manchester City fans that, remember the days at Main Road where, they were down to the division, still selling it out, and I always respected that. So, I've been very vocal on my opinions about the way City is run, but as a football club, or as a team I should say, as a group of players, Pep Guardiola has assembled a great squad, a really, really great squad. And, it's good this week to hear both managers speaking so kindly and passionately towards each other because they have both pushed both clubs on. They've pushed both teams on. Whether you're a Liverpool fan or a City fan, that 11 takes to the pitch, they're winning the Champions League, they're winning the Club World Cup, they're beating all comers, and it's probably best we don't get to see that 11 together at any point because the rest of football could probably just give up. Right, my friends, I will see you on Sunday. We'll be starting our coverage at 3:30 PM here on YouTube. Talk to you then. Bye bye.